Hmm. Is it just me? Or does the actor who plays Charlie in this movie, Jonathan Stark, resemble Jim Carrey? So, House 2 is a sequel to the 1985 movie, House. And the most obvious for me, whenever I got through the movie, even halfway through the movie, was that unlike House, which did have some horror aspects, you know, genuine jump scares, House 2 sort of pushes towards the comedy, I think. You know, rather than horror and comedy. Because I didn't see any aspects in this movie I thought, okay, that is actually quite creepy. Alright. More cool than anything. But yeah, so the movie basically follows two characters, Jesse and Charlie. And the whole thing is he gets a house, Charlie comes in, he's trying to, you know, playing, and you know, he's the big rich guy when, you know, he's just an arrogant drunk. But he is a funny character. I did like him. You know, there were a lot of memorable characters in this movie, which I mean, I'll get to later. One in particular which stands out to me and is definitely my favorite character. And he's the funniest. He's just, oh, it's such a shame that it's like, you're never going to see him probably again. Although, maybe he'll pop up, you know. I know there's House 3 and 4, which I'll be reviewing next after this. And I haven't seen him yet, so I don't know if he does make a cameo in it, but I highly doubt it. And yeah, so this movie basically takes, you know, place, and the whole aspect is there's this glass skull, and anybody who takes the glass skull off the thing that it's sitting on, the platform it's sitting on, basically a whole fucking shit show starts. All these weird fucking creatures will come through, and you know it. But therefore it was kept on the podium. I got the word, podium. Then nothing really happens. You know, it's like in a safe place, but like it's like taking it off is like just triggering the whole fucking weird ass events of creatures and dimensions, and so I sort of realized this, you know, about the skull, and Jesse decides to, you know, to get answers, he decides to go grave digging. I mean, as you do, it's a normal, you know, Friday night hobby. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's just me that does that then. Huh. Anyway, so they dig the grave up, and it turns out to be Jesse's great-great-grandfather, who just tells him to call him Pops. Oh yeah, that's right, he gets brought back from the dead. It's one of these movies you just don't ask questions, you just fucking run with it. But I do like the character of Gramps. I really, really do. He's actually genuine. And he is funny, and he's just... I just love that every time he acts tough, he literally gets his ass handed to him. Every single time. You know, he does the big tough guy and gets his fucking ass whooped. Then... so... Then you get really weird scenes that like, look so out of place, like the whole family at the dinner table and Gramps still just sitting there as a fucking corpse and dead looking. You're like, what the fuck? So the score is, if they can get the skull back, put it into the podium long enough, Gramps will fully regenerate. Like he'll come back, his skin will get colour, and you know, his hair colour will also come back. He'll pretty much go back to being alive. So that's their goal. But throughout this entire movie, literally everybody just comes, all these creatures and monsters all come, and they just steal the skull, and the whole movie is basically just Jesse and Charlie chasing after whatever the fuck has the skull. Like, for example, they're having a big party, this big ass fucking mansion party. You know, everyone's busting shapes. And just out of the blue, because of the whatever the fuck happened, you just see this big fucking muscular guy just walking through the party. He's got like, you know, face fucking makeup, whatever, and he's buff as fuck. And he just comes through, pushing through people, punched one guy, he flies over the balcony. He's like, who the fuck are you? So he grabs the skull, runs like fuck upstairs, which is such a hilarious scene when you see this really big buff guy running upstairs, like, "Arr!" and just like grunting all the time, like, "Arr! Arr!" It's really silly looking, you know. It's just, it's as silly as it sounds. Trust me. Fuck. So they chase after him, and it leads them into one of the rooms, which is a doorway into a jungle dimension. So they go in, eventually, you know, find him, get it. They put up a fight. They try anyway, and and the big buff guy basically just gets killed by some big fucking monster. Just steps on him. He's like, what the fuck? Either stepped on him or it ate him. I'm pretty sure it was stepping though. And so they get the skull and think, okay, now we got it. Let's bring it back so Gramps can get better, you know. They go, and then they get stolen by a bird of all things. This big ass fucking dinosaur bird thing, prehistoric. And he just grabs it, it's like a little baby one, and it just runs like fuck. So they're chasing this big bird that's running around with a skull in his mouth. And then it goes through the dimension into the house. So he's chasing it all over the house, and it's goofy. Like, it's goofy fun, that's what it is. It's just one of the movies definitely not to be taken serious in any shape, way, or form. You know, it's for going in and just having a laugh. So they eventually get the bird, and you know, he has to hide him in a cupboard. And then he goes in a different cupboard, and then of course then you get, oh, what do you call him? Bill Maher. That's it. It's either Maher or Maher. I never know how to pronounce it, but I know he's produced a late night show. But he's pretty good, and he's pretty funny. And they you know, he's trying to convince Jesse's girlfriend at the time that he's basically no good for her. You know, so he's trying to find all these excuses, and, you know, he's just an overall typical asshole, you know, just trying to get the bird, so he has to get rid of the guy to get to them. So then they have the skull again, they eventually get it again. And then Gramps has it, and only for him to be jumped by three or four men. I'm pretty sure it's 3 men, and they all kick the shit out of him, grab the skull, run away again with the skull. So they find Jesse and Charlie find Gramps, and they, you know, help him up, and yeah. So once again they're going after the skull, and you know. But I love about Gramps. There was one scene with Gramps where he gets into a car with Charlie. Charlie just doesn't give a fuck. He's like, yeah, this guy's all about a good time. Fuck yeah. Beer and booze and yeah. So Gramps gets in the car and just drives. He's never driven a car before, so he just fucks off down the street, gets pissed drunk, and just drives back. It's fucking hilarious. Like, it's just random things like that that gives him that charm. You know? So, the whole movie is just, like I said, overall it's a fun time. It's just, part of me does miss the horror aspects of it. Like, as I said, they went for a more comedy approach with this movie. So, any horror really doesn't exist. I mean, the only aspect I'd say it does exist is within a villain, which, yeah, of course, every movie has a villain, right? Horror movie, mostly. And who is the gunslinger? Like, you know, a big, creepy looking character too. Like really, one of my favorite scenes is when at the dinner table and he just like rises up. That's a really kick-ass scene. Like it's just so intimidating because he's tall and badass. So he's a cool character. He's like the villain who's like just killing the shit out of people, you know. And so the movie ends. Of course, they get the skull, you know, and this guy's just tearing the fucking place apart, shooting every fucking thing, the gunslinger. And the police arrive at the door because they hear gunshots. So they're all like, every fucking police force, they're all pointing the guns at the house and all saying, no, come out with your hands up. And the gunslinger shoots. You know, they think it's Jesse or whoever else is in the house. So they all just let rip fucking gunfire. And it basically shoots the shit out of the gunslinger until he's dead. So, you know, thankfully Jesse was down the floor, so, you know, bad timing, gunslinger, poor bastard. So, the movie then ends with all of them, like, oh, there's also, before that happens at the very end, unfortunately Gramps passes away, and one particular thing I want to say about that scene where Gramps does die, is it's really well acted. It actually did make me feel a little bit sad for him. I was like, oh, damn, and that's thanks to the acting. It was believable, it was heartfelt, it wasn't cringy, it wasn't over the top, it was just genuine, you know, it wasn't big out of place dialogue that you're like, oh. You know, it's genuine. And I really liked that. It was a touching moment, it was heartfelt, and I really liked it, you know. It actually made me sad that he did die. I was like, fuck, now I wish he really had survived. So, it ends with them, Jesse, Charlie, and their girlfriends all going to the next dimension pretty much to live. They go there and start a new life. And also, before I say anything else, is this not the cutest fucking thing you've ever seen? I think I read it's called like a caterpillar dog or something. That's fucking cute, dude. I want one. So, overall, I would totally say if you're in the mood for a fun-ass movie, but don't expect too much horror, because really there isn't any. This is more of a comedy, a dark comedy, if anything. I would give it a 6 out of 10 if I were to score it. But hey, I totally recommend watching it. It is a fun time, it really is. It's a fun, goofy little adventure with some dark comedy aspects to it. It's basically the summary, in essence. So yeah, totally check it out if you're into that. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I wholeheartedly appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you. And if you think about it, please like, subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching. And well, yeah, don't kill anyone.